Hello everyone, my name is Osuna and I am this year's co-CEO alongside Isabella Escobedo of the Proposition Parties 2020 project. Thank you all for coming. Today I will be presenting to you the mayoral elections. So without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, there are two candidates for this year's mayoral elections, those being Barbara Bry and Todd Gloria. It is important to keep in mind that both are Democrats. Let's get started with Barbara Bry. So Barbara Bry, she is 71 years old. She went to the Harvard Business School and the University of Pennsylvania. She is the founder of the Board of Athena, which is meant to increase the percentage of women in the STEM field. She served as the president of the board of the Children's Museum of San Diego. She was part of the board of Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest. She currently serves on the San Diego City Council in District 1. She serves as chair of the Budget and Government Efficiency Committee and as vice chair of the Rules Committee and the Committee on Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods. She taught entrepreneurship at UCSD and founded the Board of Athena, as I mentioned before. So as you can see, both candidates have priorities and issues, and so it is important to keep in mind that I will be presenting on just a few issues that both candidates want to address, and I highly encourage you to go to their web pages and do your own research because I will be presenting on very few issues. So just keep that in mind. So some priorities include for Barbara Bry, some of her priorities are city government transparency. So Barbara Bry wants transparency in decision making, specifically that of the city. And as vice chair of public safety, she advocated for a pay raise for the San Diego Police Department to recruit officers. And she also improved government transparency by revising the Charter Section 225, also known as the Mandatory Disclosure of Business Interests, which mandates that individuals who do business or make transactions with the city must report their names, identities, and intentions. And so this basically allowed for a greater city government transparency because people who made any form of transactions and people who made any form of business with the city, their identities had to be disclosed to everyone so that people would know what exactly was going on and so that there would be a greater amount of transparency. And an additional priority that Barbara Bry has is COVID-19. So Barbara Bry believes that the best way for our economy to recover is by focusing on community strengths, such as our diverse population, our technology, our universities, our natural environment, and more. She created a document titled Roadmap to Recovery in which she details what her plan is to better our economy once she becomes mayor. And you can find this again in her website, and I definitely encourage you to go to her website and look at that. So her roadmap to recovery includes expanding internet services, supporting small or local businesses, restoring tourism, reinforcing our relationship with Tijuana, Mexico, and more. An additional priority of Barbara Bry is protecting neighborhoods. So Barbara Bry wants to protect neighborhoods such as Barrio Logan and Carmel Valley, for example, and more by investing in them. So this investing includes investing in parks and libraries, as well as investing in stronger police and fire departments so that our communities are protected. And she also wants to have clean streets so that people can drive and navigate themselves safely through the city without having to face congestion and other issues that may arise from unsafe um, streets. So again, keep in mind that I will present on just 3 issues, but I encourage you to go to their web pages. Both are addressing a plethora of issues, and so I really encourage you to go and look at that. But for now, I will be addressing these 3 issues. And so the first issue that Barbara Bry wants to address is police and public safety. So for public safety, Bry believes that police should participate more in the community by collaborating with citizens And so instead of defunding the police, Barbara Bright wants to get the police more involved in the community. She also believes that the city should hire officers that are community oriented, as well as sheriffs that are community oriented. She also advocates for police transparency, and she actually references the Campaign Zero report led by the American Civil Liberties Union, which made the San Diego Police Department release the stops they have made in the past few years. An additional issue is the repeal of AB 5. So Barbara Bright wants to repeal California Assembly Bill 5, also known as AB 5, which was signed by Governor Gavin Newsom and went into effect at the beginning of the year, so January 1st, 2020. And what this bill does is that it turns independent contractors, such as drivers for Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, it turns them into employees. And so if you do get the opportunity to listen to Propositions 20 presentation, I encourage you to do so because Proposition 20 will explain, 22, my apologies. Proposition 22, head on over there once this one finishes so that you can learn more about that one. But going back to the repeal of AB 5, Barbara Bright wants to repeal this bill because she believes that it threatens the jobs of independent contractors, and she proposes starting a completely new bill so that citizens are not left vulnerable in the process. Last but not least, we have housing affordability. So Barbara Bright advocates for an increase in project area impact reports, which are informational documents by lead agencies that thoroughly analyze the possible effects of a project and list alternatives to certain effects. So Bright also proposes increasing the amount of residencies next to transportation centers, mainly directed to public transit, for example, the Metropolitan Transit System or MTS. So some additional issues that Barbara Bright wants to address include economic equality, pay equity, infrastructure, environment, climate change, and more. And so I definitely encourage you to head over to her website, and you will find her website attached to this slide of the presentation at the bottom. And I hope that is helpful. So now moving on to Todd Gloria. Again, both candidates are Democrats, and I will get started with Todd Gloria. So Todd Gloria, he is 42 years old. He went to the University of San Diego. He is part of the LGBTQ plus community. His career started at the County of San Diego's Health and Human Services Agency. He is the chair of the San Diego LGBTQ Community Center. He was the district director to U.S. Congresswoman Susan Davis, and he also served as San Diego Housing Commissioner and as member of the Mid-City Prostitution Impact Panel. He was elected to San Diego City Council in 2008, and he served the 3rd District, and he is currently the member to the California State Assembly and represents the 78th Assembly District. So moving on to priorities, some of Todd Gloria's priorities include the health of residents. So Todd Gloria believes that the health of residents right now is important, especially because of the pandemic. He created a detailed document entitled Back to Work San Diego, or Back to Work SD, where he outlines steps for recovery, which include getting children back to their school safely, providing housing support to vulnerable citizens, as well as providing assistance and helping San Diegans return to their jobs. And you can access this report in his website. You can search up toddgloria.com, and again, you can find all of these links in this slide specifically of the presentation. Moving on to the next priority is housing affordability. So Todd Gloria's focus is homelessness and housing affordability. He wants to implement aggressive housing strategies that will combine creating long-term housing opportunities with mental health services. And he also hopes to fund mental health services for vulnerable populations. And I will elaborate further on this when I speak of the issues Gloria plans to address. So another priority includes fixing city infrastructure. And Todd Gloria wants to do so by spending tax dollars on road repair, on sidewalks, on street lights, parklets, and more. And so in doing so, Gloria hopes to increase mobility, allowing for local businesses to thrive and improving public health in general. So, issues, again, I will be presenting on just a few issues, but please feel free to go to their websites. They have plenty of more information there, and I highly encourage you to do so. So, some issues that Todd Gloria wants to address once he becomes mayor is housing. The first one is housing. So, Todd Gloria recognizes the struggle that many San Diegans face in renting, and he hopes to address the housing issue by increasing the amount of homes next to transportation centers and jobs. Um, by He wants to do so by improving neighborhoods and providing people with greater mobility. And so Gloria also hopes to create affordable homes for the working and middle classes, and he supports limiting rent increase. As for homelessness, Todd Gloria believes that homelessness is the city's top priority and should be addressed by creating opportunities for permanent and long term housing for the homeless, establishing collaboration between city leaders, citizens, and those who are homeless by holding intergovernmental roundtables. So, these intergovernmental roundtables are discussions and are often 45 minutes, and it would involve all the people that I mentioned before. So, Gloria also hopes to place an emphasis on mental health by funding housing opportunities for the homeless, and he specifically correlates funding the Mental Health Services Act, MHSA, to city housing dollars. An additional issue is transportation. So, in regards to transportation, Todd Gloria hopes to enact strategies that will increase mobility and decrease congestion. He also hopes to diminish San Diego's carbon footprint, and he will do so by working with regional agencies such as the Metropolitan Transit System (MTS), the Port of San Diego, the Airport Authority, and more to better transportation access and services. He also wants to pave roads, recreation parks, and beaches, as well as increase bike and pedestrian paths to increase mobility. So, in doing so, the vulnerable populations, such as senior citizens, would have a greater access to transportation, and by having a greater sense of mobility in the city, local businesses would also be supported, and the city would gain more revenue. And so, equally important, Todd Gloria hopes to reduce the wait times for individuals who cross the border by creating a third port of entry at Alta Mesa East. So, again, these are just a few issues. Other issues that Todd Gloria wants to address are climate, public safety, racial justice, gun violence, and short term vacation rentals. So, apart from that, that is the end of the mayoral presentation. I highly encourage you to, again, look at this slide and look at the links that are below. And please feel free to do your own research. If you have any more questions, you can always come to our website. You can always email us. You can send us a message through Instagram. And thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope they prove to be helpful. And please make sure to vote this year. It is of critical importance. Thank you.